What if Deku was born in darkness? So we're gonna have this stuff straight off nice and simple, okay? Deku's basically going to be in like this void, and there's gonna be a shadowy figure that appears right in front of him, and he is going to be confused. But during this whole time, he's like rapidly changing ages. He's an old man at one, he's a kid at one, he's a teenager at one, and like it just keeps changing as all of this is happening, okay? Deku says, who am I? What am I? What's going on? And then the shadowy figure, or it's really a figure, but since he's in the void of darkness, it's not really a shadowy figure. And Deku is very puzzled on what's going on, but he's like, my boy, you're growing up quite splendidly. I am quite proud in your recent development. I've tried numerous of times to have an offspring, but most of the times it's yielding undesirable outcomes. But it seems like you're gonna be my hope, my shining star. I am actually very proud of you, my boy. Go. Choose to cover the world in darkness and evil intent or malice intent, or choose to be the darkness bringer of profit. I don't care. All I care about is you putting the world in darkness, my boy. Now go forth. And after this happens, Deku's basically popped into the womb. He was already in the womb, technically speaking, but his consciousness was not in the womb. So he spends 9 months training his umbrokinesis energy for literally 9 months. And he doesn't let any of it leak outside of his body. Then he pops out, you know, and when he pops out, darkness and shadow, it's almost like, for a lack of a better term, it's almost like Deku's mom's no square is literally like a portal of darkness, no pun intended. So when this happens, everyone's like, what's going on? And for about 30 miles in all directions, all they can see is just pure darkness. But for some reason, the doctors are able to see. And the only reason they're able to see is because they're all in contact with one another, and one of them is touching Deku. So when this happens or whatever, they pull Deku out, and Deku basically has himself cloaked in some shadows as like protection because he doesn't know what's going on. He just got evicted from his home after living there for 9 months without any warning. Like, he's like, what is this? This is rude. I was trying to catch some sleep here. And then all the doctors, patients, whatever you want to call them, I mean nurses, whatever you want to call them, swear they heard him say this, even though everyone knows he can't speak at this age. Doc, if you slap my ass, I'm slapping you out of existence. Tread carefully. Tread carefully. Now we're gonna fast forward a couple of minutes here, not minutes, but a couple of years. Deku's 5. He acts like he has a quirk, but all he does is make it into a small ball. Don't worry, he's still gonna get bullied, but it's gonna make sense later. I'm trying to test out a video concept for one of my future what ifs. So anyways, Deku gets bullied basically like he does in Canyon, but it's slightly worse. Because instead of having no quirk, he has a weak quirk. All he could do is make a black ball. Which, in retrospect, he never said he couldn't do anything else. He said, yeah, I could make a black ball. That's all he said, and everyone just thought that was his quirk. He let them make the presumption themselves. Deku got bullied, but it was a little bit worse. Now Deku's 14. He still does all his other stuff, but he's just not cowering in fear and stuff. And there's been many times that he called Bakugo out, and people were like, damn, he kind of got a point. Anyways, he made Bakugo look like a villain without making him look like a villain. For example, one example was if I'm not even worth the ground you step on, or worthy to be the ground you step on, Kachan, why do you bully me then? Everyone. Bakugo had to let that roast, and then Bakugo's like, what was all that shit you were talking earlier? Blah, blah, blah. And he looks at Bakugo dead in the eyes and swear. For like a brief moment in time, and I mean like a very brief moment in time, Bakugo didn't see no fear. And he kind of like realized this. He was like, wait, why isn't the dude cowering in fear? I've been putting this nigga through hell. What's going on? And Deku just looks him in the eyes, and you swear you saw warps of shadows nearby. And he looks at him and says, Kacchan, if you keep up this foolish behavior, you're gonna regret it one day. And Bakugo's like, quit your shit. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm gonna show you your fucking place. And then he tries to do that, and it does not work well, okay? Well, it does actually. Deku just falls down to the ground and nothing happens. And then we'll do another brief moment here where we're talking about the sludge villain attack. Sludge villain pulls up, and Deku's like, excellent. I've been dying to try out some of my new moves, but let me see what I can do here. He says quarter circle. And then like a unique shadow figure appears. And as the sludge villain about to come out, he's like, wait, what? And he just looks at Deku, and he's like, perfect, I needed a body. You can be my hero. And he's like, no, my boy. You're my hero. This would be reminiscent to Full Metal Alchemist on kind of how the Pride Sin had his shadow ability almost. It's kind of like with that level of terrifying. And he's like, shadow corrosion. And they said, embrace the darkness. And then moments later, when All Might appears and the sludge villain is cowering in a corner, and he looks at All Might and says, All Might, you can take me. You can take me to jail. Just get me away from this madman. And from outside inwards, or looking from the outside, you just see like this tiny, timid little boy. Like that's just what his looks like. Which, don't get me wrong, he has a lot more clothes on to like hide his muscles, but that's in later part of the episode, okay? And All Might's like, this little boy made him this fearful? Like even what I could do hasn't made him even more fearful. And he looks at a bottle, and he gets in the bottle, right? But somehow he does all this in a fluid motion. He gets inside the bottle, put the lid on, and flees over to All Might. Take me to jail, please take me to jail. I don't want to be here no more. Get me away from this madman. He's a child of the devil or something. He was like, you're almost right, but something far more gruesome and terrifying. And now after that happens, Deku's like, I do need cash. So he's like, hey, oh Mike, can you not scan, but can you sign my notebook? All Might signs it, but what All Might doesn't know is that Deku had that shit scanned multiple times. And it literally, he made like about 100 copies of All Might's signature. And he just says, to my fans. And Deku's like, oh, this is gonna make me so much money because it's legit. Now let's get into the entrance exam real quick before we cut this part off. So basically, your boy Deku is just being that guy, but like when the exam starts, he literally just looks around and he's like, all right, cool beans. He's like, damn, all these people are kind of weak. He sees Bakugo, but Bakugo just looks at him, know your place. And then just like kind of like struggling walks away. And then the entrance exam starts as per usual, and Deku's like, yeah, no, not in the mood. I might not be able to use my abilities for a while, but I think if I use it on a small scale, I should be okay. And note, guys, this is an ultimate move, not just something he could do willy-nilly, okay? And so he's like, as he like clinches into the air, and it looks like he's pulling on something, and all you hear him say is, absolute darkness. And then boosh, you just see shadows starting to flood in where any ounce of light is at. And then he releases it, and then all you see are like just robots. Majority of the robots are destroyed, but what he did was he was courteous, okay? He destroyed a lot of the robots that were further off. He was like, he put like arrows. He was like, hey, don't worry guys, I left some for y'all. And all these robots that he destroyed were the higher point robots. If y'all all work together, y'all will be able to successfully get enough points. But if y'all fight and, you know, cheat, and basically it's on some Kakashi shit. If they work together, they'll get points. If they don't, they might not get enough points because the points are distributed a little bit unevenly. If they just like, my points, right? I digress though. So that happens, and then we gotta fast forward to the, you know, the main point of all this. Him and Uraraka, right? And the 0 point robot pulls up, and Deku, everybody's like, get away. Ida's like, we gotta get away, the heroes can deal with it. And he looks at Ida, and like, he does it quickly to where almost no one notices, and he slashes at Ida. And you call yourself a hero. Ida was too busy being in fear to like really register what just happened, so he kept running. And then Deku puts shadows around Uraraka and basically just pulls her out of the rubble, and he looks at her and grabs her by the throat and simply says, you can't be a hero and you're weak on your physical powers. You need to be better than that, Uraraka. Or at least that's what I presume your name would be. I saw it when I was walking in, when we was putting our names in registry. But nonetheless, I'm glad that you're okay. So, with that being said, he basically just like warps her over to Recovery Girl. And he looks at the robot and he says, I'm going to enjoy every second of this. It's been a while since I was able to cut loose. And then all you hear him scream is, Kinesis. And his aura just flares up. And I mean, it's like this purplish, dark-like aura. And he just looks at the robot and flicks the robot away. Now, this is really just overkill, but it's been a while. And the robot gets sent like a cajillion feet in the air, okay? And then as the robot's coming back down, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I meant to make that a one shot. I guess I hold back too much. He winds his arm back. What is it? What does All Might do? Texas Smash? I got something better. Texas Darkness Smash. Boosh. Okay? And boom. I mean, when I say boosh, everything the robot was behind and in front of it just got hit with like this wave of shadows and like this extreme, like All Might level type punch, bro. And everyone is baffled, okay? I mean, everyone, okay? And then that's where we would leave this part off. I hope y'all guys enjoyed. Let me know what y'all want to see on the next part.